All right, people, welcome back. Real Tough Talk. Stephen J. Ghost. We're going to jump into the next game of the day, which was the Raiders versus Primetime. Raiders coming in off of a close loss to PME, 27-13. And Primetime coming in, beat and don't sleep, 18-12. The question is, with the way these teams have been playing this season, what team would you say you're a little concerned about coming into this game?
I would say I'm concerned about Primetime more than Raiders. Not to say that both teams don't have their own problems, but the thing with Primetime is they're not necessarily a team that I have any confidence in on either side of the ball, and they have off-field problems in the fact that they don't always show up on time to their games. So a lot of guys aren't here on time, so their team isn't able to play at full capacity on any given game. Then they have the quarterback issue where when Melvin's not here, they have to adjust and play with Mister. Is that going to be a problem throughout the season? I don't know, and that's the problem. We don't know what team we're going to get when Primetime comes on the field. And a lot of guys are playing Iron Man that shouldn't. So those are my issues that I worry about more on Primetime than on Raiders, and because we don't know how this team is going to play based on who's going to be here. And that's a problem in my opinion.
The thing about the Raiders that I'm concerned about is they're coming in. Their offense last year was 13th in scoring. Their offense was 14th in efficiency. Efficiency, is basically the percentage of time it takes they get the ball to when they score. They were the worst team in percentage offensively, and it was the second worst scoring-wise. This year, the Raiders' offense, they're scoring 5th in the league. Their offense. Efficiency, the Raiders coming in, they're 3rd. They score 54% of the time. That's a way different from last year. And on the other side, this is what's the confusing part. Their defense. Last year, the Raiders were number 1 in efficiency, number 2 in overall defense. This year, you know what they had? On overall defense, they're the worst team as far as scoring. They give up 27 points a game. That is league worst. And efficiency, when offensive steps on the field to play against this LES defense, the offense is scoring 64% of the time. That's terrible. That's 9th. There's only one team that got a higher percentage of team scoring on them, and that's UTB, the Untouchables, 67%. That has to be a cause of concern. Now, their draft pick, he's going to be here today, but we saw him not come week 1. We saw him come way late week 2. So we got to see what we get from him. I think the Sal pickup was a really good pickup for this team. And I think the Kenny pickup was a good pickup. I think it all comes down to their number 1 draft pick. And to me, Joel is lost. He doesn't look comfortable as far as leading this defense. And I think it's affecting him, which is why, when JJ was able to score points, the defense does not have his back by holding down and making stops.
I mean, that's the thing that troubles me. There's only a couple of guys that they lost when it comes to this defense. They lost Santana, they lost Ice, but they picked up a couple of guys in Kenny, Sal, and Jay Will, even though Jay Will, you mentioned his issues. But my thing is, the defense shouldn't drastically change that much because the core guys that's on the team is still there. So right. I can't necessarily worry too much. It's just figuring out what worked last year or last season and bring it into what you're doing this season. So I'm not as worried too much about them because as long as they're able to figure out and get back to how they played last season, I think that they'll be fine. That's why I'm not worried about this Raiders team as much as I'm worried about Primetime.
All right, we're going to jump right into the game. The Raiders getting the ball, JJ getting the start. JJ with blocking from Book, throws deep to Spud, wide open in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. Sal gets the extra point, 7-0 Raiders. If you look here, Leo leads points amount to Leak. Leak doesn't pick him up, and they're able to score. I've been talking about this time with this Primetime defense. They give up a ton of points at times, and I think it's a cause of concern, but I'm going to focus more on Spud. Spud is having an all-star season. He didn't do this on the offensive side of the ball last year. This year, he's a very, very key component on this Raiders passing attack And I feel that's why their offense upgraded this season, because surely the player spot. He definitely had this team on a higher level, and JJ and him, their friends and family, they connect and they're able to find each other for the touchdown.
And my thing is, when we're talking about their offense, Spud is the engine that makes their offense go. And he is the main person that JJ's looking for when he wants to drive down the field. If you take out Spud out that game, their offense is completely different. And Spud is showing that this year. He wasn't able to show that last year because I guess Angel didn't understand the way his game worked on offense, but he's able to showcase how good he is on offense. And we haven't seen too many teams able to stop him so far. He's having, like you said, an all-star season. And this is a guy who was up there for for Give of the Year last season. And he's killing on offense. That's amazing to see that a person can adjust their game so much and show that they can do things on the opposite side of the field.
Definitely has to be up there so far for most improved player. We're going to jump with Primetime getting the ball. Melvin, he's going to roll left, throw to Artie in the gap for a nice game, picking up the first down. I remember Artie starting out in Brooklyn in the C2 division. And this guy is showing the ability to possibly play in the A division. Great jump, way to improve his game. Shout out to him. Melvin is going to throw Leo in the gap, who runs near the 5-yard line on the next play. Second down, second and goal. Melvin finds Leo in the back of the end zone. What a touchdown. If you look here, Leo runs from the sideline. No one picks him up, and Melvin is able to find him 7-7 tie. Listen, I already told you. Leo is playing on an MVP level. We've never seen him. We know he had the talent, but this seems like it means a lot to him. He's involved in everything, and Melvin finally has the opportunity to really have a weapon like this. Melvin has never had the talent that he has in Lil right now, and their connection is definitely working. Good touchdown play right there.
And it's good that they're going to him early. They're going to need him in this game. That's how they're going to get their offense to be more successful. As Lil's in every drive making some plays for Melvin, they're able to find their way into the end zone. They do that responding to the Raiders scoring first. They're able to get right back right in the end zone after.
We got a 7-7 tie. Second down, after a short pass, JJ throws the split in the gap for a decent game to get up the first down. JJ throws a Simon in the gap, the next play getting to the 7-yard line. Second and goal, JJ found Sal cutting in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. 13-7, Raiders take the lead. If you look here, no one's talking on defense. Lil never sees Sal cutting behind him. Listen, that got to feel good for Sal. Sal was traded from Primetime to the Raiders.
Yeah.
So you know that Sal, I don't know if he was up for this game. I would be up for this game because it was basically like Tiki saying, first of all, I drafted you in the third round. Second of all, I don't really feel I needed you. Third of all, you're trading him within the division. So it's like, listen, I don't think he's going to come back to hurt me. He came back to hurt him here. Sal is definitely showing why he was he's another part of this big improvement in his LES offense. And JJ finds him 13-7 LES.
And the thing about it, my problem here is there's no communication on defense here. Lil does not see Sal cutting behind him. If they communicated and pointed him out, he'll be able to pick him up. But because he doesn't even know he's cutting behind him, by the time the ball is thrown, Lil can't react, and Sal is left wide open for the touchdown. This is going to be a problem moving forward if they don't fix that issue of communication. Communication is key on defense, and if they don't do that, these things are going to happen more often.
First down on 4 rush, Melvin is sacked by Spud. I think Spud should also be up there for Johnny Rockstar Award. He's doing it on offense, he's doing it on defense, he's on special teams. This guy has to be up there for multiple awards. Big sack by him there, kind of showing what he was doing last year. Melvin's going to throw a leak in the gap. Sal gets there, just misses the ball. Leak runs for a nice gain in the first down. Leak is tired of us talking only about Lil and not really focusing on him. We get lost in Meek. We get lost in Lil. We get lost in Artie. We don't talk about him enough. You know he's taking it personal. Big play there. Next play, Melvin is blitzed by Kenny and sacked. If you look here, Lonnie misses the block. Listen, Kenny's a former champion. They drafted him because they know he can pressure the quarterback. That is a huge sack. Great play by Kenny, the former UFL champ.
And having him at the linebacker position, able to be fast enough to guard whatever receivers out there, and still be able to blitz in and pressure the quarterback, that is a dangerous weapon to have on defense. And that is why Kenny's there. Even though their defense hasn't been looking so hot like the last season, Kenny's there to make some big defensive plays, and he's able to showcase one of those plays with them getting a sack there.
Lonnie misses a huge block. Can't miss that block. Then there's no reason for him to be out there if he can't block. He can't catch. So, I mean, I don't know. Second down, Melvin throws deep to Lil on the sideline with Mimi there. Lil with the catch over Mimi in the end zone for the touchdown. Kenny gets the extra point. 13-13. Raiders tie. I mean, Kenny intercepts the extra point. I'm sorry. 13-13 time. Now, this is what's funny. Lil owns any Mimi that lines up against him.
Yeah.
We seen him do this to the sour Mimi, as you can see here. Shout out to Ghost for the replay real quick. And now he does it to Suicide Squad Mimi. Do not line up with Mimi against this man. He will embarrass them. And he does it here again. They tie the game up.
I was about to say the same thing. It's just funny that every time Mimi's guarding him, whoever it is, he's jumping over him. But understand, the point is, this man can dunk the basketball. So you know that he's going upstairs for that ball. You got to be prepared for that. And it seems like this Mimi here wasn't prepared for what happened to the last Mimi last week, and he ends up getting dunked on right here. That's a great catch by Lil, actually carrying this offense on his back. It's like 500 pounds, heavy lifting. And that's exactly what he's doing with his second touchdown of the day.
We've seen both Mimis having something more in common than their name. They both are made a highlight in the negative way. JJ gets the ball back. He's going to throw the Simon open in the gap for a decent gain in the first down. Why is Lonnie on defense? So let me get this straight. He's not able to block. So Tiki decides to put him on defense. I don't understand the point of this. I mean, maybe he's trying to get everybody in the game. I want to play. Get Ghost in the game. We all want to play because I don't understand why Lonnie's on defense. They got a better chance putting Tiki on defense. Third down with 11 seconds left. JJ throws to J. Will, who has a step on Mula on the sideline, caught in the end zone for the touchdown. Jahad gets the extra point, 20-13. Nobody on defense talking. This is the J. Will we need. First of all, Mula does not need to be guarded. I guess Mula didn't know who this man is. This was, I believe, the number 4 pick in the draft. He's there for a reason. And you can tell that this is not the same J. Will we saw last week. This is what I need him to do. I'm not giving him his Thanos name again yet. Still got to earn it. But this is why they drafted him, to upgrade not only their defense, but to really upgrade their offense and to be their constant playmaker. I like Kenny. I like Sal. J. Will's better than both of them. You put them all together, this is a championship team. This is the J. Will they need. And now that's 20-13. Raiders take the lead going into the half.
And one thing I got to say, I got to give JJ his credit for actually finding these receivers, because I don't care who you have on your team. If your quarterback is not able to get them the ball, none of this matters. True. So JJ showing the confidence, able to get these guys the ball and get them into the end zone. This was a good throw, finding J. Will, knowing that he gets to step on Mula. That's the way that you end the half, knowing that your offense is able to stop to score at will. And that's exactly what this Raiders team is doing, scoring at will. That's why I said earlier, I'm not really worried about this team too much, because as long as they're able to score consistently, their defense is going to be able to put things together eventually. So that's why I am confident that the Raiders will be just fine, especially the way that they're looking in this half. I'm worried about Primetime right now. Not to go on both teams, but they are not looking as good as they need to right now. And the Raiders are taking advantage of that, scoring their third touchdown going into the half.
Listen, I'm concerned about Primetime because, once again, this team cannot stop anybody. They are they're 7th in efficiency defensively. When teams step on the field, they score 45% of the time. It's not good. It's not good in the UFL. Their defense is giving up 15 points a game. That's 5th. It's a little too much points when UFL standards. His defense has to get better. And now, again, I'm not worrying about their offense. Melvin scored in his first 2 possessions, but their defense allowed JJ to score on all 3 possessions. That got to be a cause for concern. Tiki got to get better with this team. We're going to jump into the second half. And we're going to start this out with Real Tough Talk chicken. Anytime you need some chicken, think Real Tough Talk. Our chicken is live, and it walks around. We got to do better with the slogan, but at the end of the day, you can see the chicken walking around, and it'll be cooked soon. We're going to jump into the second half. Primetime's going to start with bad field position. First down, Melvin on 4 rushes, sacked by Spud. Spud's second sack of the game. The guy's doing it on both sides of the ball. He does it different from Damo. He does it with all speed. Great play there to get the sack. 3rd and long, Melvin on 4 rush. Throws deep to Lil in the middle. Picked off by Jay Will. Giving the ball back to the Raiders. Moulai's open on the sideline, but he never stops running. Listen, I know the fact that, you know, I like to call Melvin, that's Melvin Baker or Melvin Mayfield, but there is no reason to take the shot. Let me tell you something. Jay Will is an athlete also. So don't think that you're playing against people's grandmothers out there. Jay Will is an athlete. So he attempts to go to Leo in the middle, and Jay Will picks him off. He has other people opening. I think he's trying to zoom in he's zooming in on Leo, especially this being 3rd and long. He wants to take a shot, and Jay Will and his Raiders defense makes him pay for it.
But my thing is, it's not only Melvin's fault. I believe if you look here, I can't necessarily say that Melvin even saw him, but Moulai's wide open in the gap. You turn around, that is big yardage right there. As a receiver, you got to know what part of the field you're on. And if you see that there's no defenders around you, you turn around, that ball should be coming right to you. That is a big play waiting to happen, but it looked like Moulai was looking for the deep play downfield. He wanted to be a big play guy, and unfortunately, because of that, he didn't make himself a stable target for Melvin, and it makes Melvin force a pass that he didn't need to.
Taking down JJ on 4 rush, throws the Spud in the gap, getting to the 10-yard line. 3rd down, JJ finds Jihad open in the front of the end zone for the touchdown. Simon gets the 2-point conversion, 28-13. If you look here, Lonnie's rushing in, leaving Jihad wide open. Listen, what are we doing? Lonnie can't block. Lonnie can't cover. Lonnie doesn't know when to blitz. What is going on? I don't know what Lonnie's out there doing. I don't know how he's doing it. He's just not doing it well. Because there's no other reason for Lonnie to be on the field. I don't care what it is. He's not doing anything right. JJ attacks the area he left, and they're able to score 28-13. Melvin get the ball back. He's blitzed by Joel. Rolls right. Those are already in the gap for a nice gain in the 1st down. I like the fact that Melvin is showing the ability to move around in the pocket and make plays on the run. Melvin is going to throw the Leo open in the end zone for the touchdown. If you look here, Leo with the one-hand catch in the end zone for the touchdown. 28-19. Raiders still got the lead. Primetime trying to crawl back. Leo's doing everything he can. Kenny loses him as he cuts behind. This is communication on the defense. They got to talk. But Leo is playing like an MVP this season. He's practically putting Primetime on his back and is carrying him. The man is saying, get on my back and I will carry you. 28-19, they're trying to get back in the game.
And it seems like it went from 500 pounds to 700 pounds. He's lifting 700 pounds equal. He's carrying that whole team. And it's not, unfortunately, it's still not enough because they're not able to stop this Raiders offense. But Leela's doing his best to keep him in contention in this game. And it seems like nobody on this Raiders team is able to slow him down. So Melvin has to find a way to keep going to him. Don't force him the ball. Just keep finding him, and he's gonna pretty much make plays for them as he's doing here.
Second down at the 48. JJ on 4 rush. Throws Spud in the gap. Picked off by Ty. Primetime gets the ball back. Listen, we seen Ty come up with a big interception last week on a pass that Mimi dropped. This one, Ty's showing that he's capable of playing with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? That's at the end of the day. Sometimes they say, oh, Ty plays in the lower division. He's playing well only because he's in lower division. He's playing with the big boys. Spud has been a go-to receiver for JJ, and Ty's able to get the ball and get a huge interception. Now you're going to see Spud and JJ arguing. And if you're on defense, this is what you need to see on an offense that has scored on every possession, and this is the first time you've stopped them. Definitely something you want to see. What do you think going on with JJ and Spud arguing here?
I just think that Spud is frustrated because it seemed like he felt like JJ forced that pass, which is something that he didn't do all game. And all of a sudden now he's starting to make mistakes as the game comes to a close. And I think that he is trying to get him back into the game, like not to make any mistakes. I wouldn't be one to kill JJ on this play here. Yeah, it was a bad throw. It was an inaccurate throw, but I'm not going to kill him because he's been pretty much lights out. So every quarterback, every now and then, is going to make a mistake. This is just one of those times where he makes that mistake here.
Melvin on 4 rushes, sacked again by Spud. Second hour, blocked it from Lonnie. Melvin rolls left, throws a Leo in the middle, comes back to the ball, caught. But Melvin stepped over the line before the pass, lost it down. That is a huge penalty. Melvin getting a little too anxious and steps over the line. I can't blame him. Lonnie's a horrible blocker. And because he don't feel like he has protection, you see quarterbacks step over the line. You've seen Chuck do it. So this is what happens, and that's a big mistake there by Melvin. Last play of the game, Melvin is blitzed by Spud. Throws it up to Artie on the sideline, caught but tagged at the 5-yard line. Ending the game, Raiders come away with the win, 28-13.
And listen, it came to him, trying his best to make something happen. I think they were down 2 scores, so I don't know that they would have been able to get any closer than that. Even if they scored, I don't think it would have mattered much. But the fact that Melvin was able to fight and keep playing and get that close, I would give them some credit. But defense lost this game for them. Melvin did his best. He didn't force any turnovers or too much of those. He did well in this game. So I'm not going to kill him for losing this game. The defense gave up this game wholeheartedly. They deserve all of the criticism. Tiki deserves the criticism as well because this defense does not look good. They don't communicate. They're not locking up on defenders. And there's people that's out there that don't belong out there on defense in the first place. So like I said earlier, this is issues that Primetime have that make me worry about them more than this Raiders team. And that's why these problems come to a head and it leads to them getting a loss in this game.
I hear what you're saying, but the Raiders still gave up 19 points.
Yeah.
They gave up 19 points.
They gave up 19 points.
So
think about this, though, and I'm going to say this, not to go back and forth. They gave up 19 points. How much points did they score?
They scored 28.
Would they have been able to do this last season?
No, but their defense.
And that's my point.
Their defense didn't give up.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. My thing is, yes, they shouldn't give up that many points. We both in agreement on that. They shouldn't be giving up these points. This is an issue that they definitely have to deal with because it's too much points they're giving up on the regular off of some things that they can fix basically on communication. They have the personnel on the field that can do the job. They're just not communicating and gelling properly. But I think that their offense is the main focus right now, and they're getting the job done, especially in this game. So I'm not going to kill them too much. They have work to do, but they're looking good, and they're heading in the right direction so far.
I'm concerned. They gave up 19 points.
Yeah.
What happens when you play the top scoring offense in the league, who's in your division, UTB, in the playoffs? They score 24 points a game. What happens when you play PME? They score 22 points a game. And that's without even doing the average for this week. Remember, this is off the last stats. I ain't even put the average in for this week yet. You're going to have teams that's going to score. Now, I love what JJ's doing, but we haven't seen JJ do this for his whole career. So we can't say that we believe he's going to constantly be able to do this. I don't know. I could only talk based on numbers. And this is the first time we've seen JJ playing the way he's playing. Not taking anything away from him. He should be up there in the running for quarterback of the year. He should be up there in the running for most improved player. But this is not like something I could say JJ has constantly done in his career. The Raiders has always been able to depend on their defense and they can't now. So you're putting more pressure on your quarterback. Now, I love the fact that JJ put up 28 points, but he put up 28 points against a not very good defense. I like that he did it against PME, who was a better defense last week. He put up 17. Last week versus PME, he only put up 13 points. PME is a better defense than Primetime. So you can't have me to believe, no, we're not going to do that. We're only going by numbers. I think this former JJ can win him a championship, but not if the defense does not back him up. The defense must back him up in order to be successful. And I'm confused about this team. Like I said, they're giving up points 64% of the time the offense steps on the field. Now, on the other side, I think Melvin played a little better. I like what I see. I like the fact that, first of all, there is no quarterback controversy. I like Mrs. Game. Melvin's a better quarterback. He's more mobile. He can throw on the run. And I think he's a better leader. I think he commands the offense better than Mr. There's no shot against Mr., but you are what you are. The problem is the interception he threw. That was a forced pass. Melvin can't do that. He has Artie, and he has other receivers on this offense that can help him make plays. He has to learn to look for them and not get caught up in this. Now, we're not going to go crazy because this is his first time playing with Leo. You know that. I know that. Last week, Mr. threw. So we're not going to kill Melvin for that because he was finding Leo all over the field. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to prove that he can beat teams with other receivers. Because when they start doubling him or tripling him or something happens, you're going to have to prove that you can win games by yourself. But I'm more confident in Melvin adjusting even better than I am on his Raiders defense. We're going to wrap this one up with the Raiders beating Primetime 28-19. We'll be right back.